long as we hold that blue line. As long as we hold that blue line, it should be now what? Do this again. Share. I forgot to change the thumbnail. Where she goes, where she goes. What did I do? No, I said close. And then, here. Click on this, see how it's going. Check. Check, 1, 2. Try yours.
Check. Check.
Yeah, you're coming through.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's get into it. I think we're
Oh,
good.
yeah.
It's weird, like it lags quite a bit more than you think.
Oh, are you not really supposed to have the lag, or?
No, see that's how far it lagged. That was like 15 seconds. It's typical with live. Like if you're going live. Peek the mic. Always. Alright, here we go. There we go. Hey, folks. Welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name is Marty Boggs. This is my show. Stick around and you might find out something that you didn't know. So let's go. Today we got a special guest with us. His name's AK. He knows.
Hey.
He knows. We're going to get into some stuff. We're going to start off with a little bit of Bitcoin. This is actually what I was looking at earlier today. I was waiting for this. Come down to this area here. Turn the music down a little bit here. It sounds a little aggressive. Bring her down. There we go. So if we hold this blue line, that looks nice, because if we hold this blue line, we also hold this POC 618 retrace. However, we do have a bearish divergence. So like I said in my update that we talked about last time, I want to see us, we were stuck under here. If you guys are following this channel, you know we were looking for this exact move right here. The sweep, the big wick, the revisit, and then the pump, and then they get on top of the 200 and test it before going higher. So now we've gotten this happened. Now we need to get on top and stay. I want to see some support. So I'd like to see us come down here, test this area as support before moving higher. So we don't, now that these EMAs are all flipping around, we want to see price come back and hold these EMAs as support to continue this move up. Because if we lose those EMAs, lots of traders are going to be stopping out of their trades, their long trades, which is going to force the market down further, because every time you're longing and you close a long, it's a market sell. So all these traders that are in from this area, this juicy area down here that I was talking about for a while, they are going to use these EMAs, depending on how aggressively they're trading, for their stops in profit, most likely. Because if you got in down here, right, deviation below the value area, this green line is our value area, to our red to our green line. So this is a fair value for the asset over this period of time. When we get below that fair value, that means it's on sale. So when things are on sale, what happens? People buy them. So, and sure enough, people did buy it when it was on sale. Now we're back into exact POC, which is the largest volume traded in this range. So this is the exact fair price for Bitcoin right now. So usually when you do the volume profile, you go from the low to the medium to the high. As you see it in the news, it goes from the low, and then they tell you one thing, and then it goes to the medium, and then they tell you the complete opposite thing, and then everybody buys in late, and then they sell at the top. So if it does the usual volume profile, we are just in a range here, so there's a good chance that we would go up to here. But I would like to see, since we have a bearish divergence here, it would be healthy to go down and come back and grab some liquidity, which we have sitting down here, before coming back up and then holding and then visiting the value area high. And then when we get there, that your trade's closed from here, we're happy. We'll reassess and see what's happening. But if things go up too fast, they're going to come down just as fast. So we want to have healthy market structure and continue to watch Bitcoin rise slowly but steadily, because we know that it will. But you know how things go, AK, with money printing.
Money printing is the world's greatest asset right now. It's making Bitcoin's price go up and up and up.
That's just it too. It's like they're talking about the only answer they have is to print us out of it. Oh yeah, we'll just print more money. Like, and they raise the debt ceiling again. They just continue to raise the debt ceiling and print more money. And there are a bunch of people who aren't worried about it affecting them. They're going to leave it to the next guy to screw around with. So they don't really care. They're just going, yeah, well, I'm going to retire here in the next few years, so let's print us out of this one, and good luck to the next guy.
No, they just pass it down from generation to generation.
Just because, like we were saying,
it's our generation here. We're the ones who have to find the way out.
Yeah,
that's what Bitcoin is.
Yeah, and luckily enough, we have figured it out. So
yeah, it's few and far between still have figured it out, but
yes,
you got to be against it before you're for it.
Of
you
course.
Got to learn. But Bitcoin is the future. Is it going to be something you use as a currency? No, but it will be something that holds value. Yeah.
It allows you to have peace of mind, because if you're somebody who's trying to save money and you don't make that much of it to begin with, you're trying to save something that's losing value every single year. At best, 2%. So you're losing 2% of your value per year saving money, in which case you would want anything that does better than that to try and get ahead. But Bitcoin, we're looking at an average of 100% per year here.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple down years. We've had about 4 or 5 down years in the last 15.
Yeah, but what? Maybe a 60%.
Yeah, after a 300%.
Yeah, and
right?
These are all coming after a big year. So
right. So if we zoom out here and get way out, even let's maybe check on another chart that's not as busy. That one's even more busy. This one here, every time it goes down, it comes back way more. And this is like one of the things too, like look at this chart and you go back to, this is 2020, crash of 2020 is right here. This is the COVID crash.
Yeah.
Like look at this. In hindsight, looking at,
it's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's crazy how after what was one of the biggest, actually no, we got to put this on logarithmic. It's not logarithmic. There we go. That'll be easier to read. So now I've spaced it out so it's easy to read, but that was standard charting the way it was before. Now it's on logarithmic, so the increments are multiplied as they go higher. So you go from 220 to 320 to 460 to 900. So it's so you can actually read it basically, because if you couldn't and you went on a standard scale, it was like you saw before. It explodes.
Yeah.
So in this case, with our multiplying scale. There's COVID here, which was, we had bear market 2017. I first bought Bitcoin probably somewhere back in here. I don't know. I can't remember where it was. This is actually a market cap. This isn't price. So this is how much money was in the asset, which affects the price. And you can see it's a very similar chart. And we're about to see, so right now it's sitting at a $1.9 trillion market cap.
That's about to explode.
And if you look at, exactly, previous areas where we're basically this is exactly what it looks like right here. Oh, look at that massive bearish divergence, you guys. One little cool off, and then let's just do a quick little measure tool here.
And you also got to look at everything else going on in the world. You can't just, Bitcoin is a lot more worldly adopted now versus where it was 5 years ago. Yeah. When you have institutions trying to buy it all, this isn't something that they're just printing more of like your cash. There's only a limited amount. So when you have BlackRock and even Saylor buying all this up.
So this is the reason actually why they're printing the money, because at this point, so before
they want to buy it,
exactly,
they need
it. So when they were taken, when Nixon or whatever, when they were taken off the gold standard, Nixon was in power or whatever, he's the one that signed it. Obviously there's a lot more going on, but anyways, when that happened, they realized, we got something here. Like we can just, they all bought real estate, right? They all bought companies. They all, the stock market. They
invested in everything you consume.
And they realized that if the more they print, the more it flows into the system and then flows into their pockets. Yes. So they want to print money because it makes them who hold the asset more richer, whatever you want to say, right?
The last 4 years are a prime example of it.
Exactly, and they just continue to borrow off of those expensive assets. So they don't actually pay taxes because they're living off borrowed money and hoarding assets.
That's the key. That's your ticket to basically freedom.
Yeah, exactly. If you understand to get away from taxes, you can save like 50% of your income.
Yes.
Right? That's huge. Some places more.
You should be basically taking as little as you can to be as taxed as little, and borrowing all the money they print against your assets.
Which is terrible, I understand. And I actually told some people this. I was like, sorry guys, like when I figured this stuff out, I was like, I joined the dark side.
Oh yes.
I realized that I spent my teens and my, some of my 20s trying to like awaken people and let them know, hey guys, this is how the thing works. Like you need to make an adjustment here, and nobody wanted to listen to me. So I was like, you know what? I love you guys, but I am going to join the dark side, I guess. And just because this is how it works, my opinion means nothing. What I think doesn't change anything. So
no.
You can't beat them, join them, I guess is what they say. And so I've joined the dark side. I'm aware of it, but I'm doing it in good honor for my family. To create generational wealth. If you hold Bitcoin, it's different, right?
That's right.
If you took over like a bunch of real estate, then that's true dark side, is creating up city blocks so people can't live in these houses.
So you're building your condos and creating a rental. Meanwhile, you think you're doing good by giving the people somewhere to live. Well, those people need a place to live for 10, 15 years. They want to build a family. They want to build a foundation, lay roots down like our parents did here with the real estate they bought.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be passed down. You're supposed to move out and create it. Now we live in almost basically a concrete jungle where they just want to keep putting up high-rise, one-bedroom, one-bath condos. It's
as many as they can, because they can collect that much more tax on a smaller.
That's right.
Smaller footprint.
And that's the thing. Cities are okay with it too, because the politicians in power are collecting the money that's flowing through, and the more units on that piece of property, the more money they're getting. Mm-hmm. And I think I was telling this the other day.
They can apply for more each time.
I told you, it was one of the proudest moments of my life recently. I told you I had $0 in my bank.
Yeah.
That's, everyone will think you're a complete moron, but no, I have.
Well, if you understand it.
Exactly.
Not at all.
No, I don't allow banks to take my money to lend it out 9 different times to inflate my time and effort that I gave a company in return.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, like, all you're doing is trying to pay somebody else's retirement, right? That's all you're really doing. So there's no need to do that anymore. I get it, why it became a thing, but we gave them opportunity to control and regulate, and they blew it. Yes. So it's now time for us to take it back into our own hands and because we have the reason is our future, right? So they don't care about your future. They care about their future.
Which is why everybody should go out right now and buy Bitcoin, so there's none left on the exchange for BlackRock to buy.
Everybody drain your bank accounts.
Yes, drain all your bank accounts. Be smart, and because you don't understand, your politicians aren't running the world. It's the bankers, the people who are printing.
And you know what's
currencies.
Funny is that Canada just elected a banker.
I know. Oh yes, their central banker. I thought that was wonderful. You guys are going to make me rich.
Well, that's the thing.
I
It's
don't
like
have a dime
that's the thing. It's like you know what, guys, go for it. I'm positioned either way.
I'm good. I don't care what you do. Yeah.
I feel for the people that are going to get screwed over though, because a lot of the people that voted for this man are going to get heavily screwed over, and they have no idea because they didn't listen to facts. They followed the media.
All they care about are their feelings.
And they probably like Mike Myers, and it was like, oh, obviously he got the win because he had Mike Myers in one of his ads or his campaigns. It's like, come on, you got Austin Powers in your campaign. You can't lose. I don't care who you're going against.
Well, what? It's also you shout out any Trump hate and you'll get votes.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's ridiculous. The thing too is they work off each other. They all use each other.
Oh, I know. They're all so many people worried about us becoming the 51st state. Honestly, again, I couldn't care less. My currency is my currency. I got my freedom. Yeah. Right.
There's already a world currency that's more valuable than any other dollar on this planet. So once you figure that out, it doesn't matter where you live, unless you're talking about capital gains tax, because then you're like, well, which is brutal because any country that has high capital gains tax is pulling money from their country because people with high dollar and high capital gains will just go to other countries. So now everybody in that country suffers. All the poor people suffer because guess what? The billionaires are the people who build the things that make the construction workers work, and that's just how it works. So if you don't allow big money to come and develop, because that's all they can do, that's all the economy is develop, because that's how we are. Everything's going down by 2% a year. So we have to make sure that we make up for it next year, because if we're not expanding, if our GDP is negative, we're in a recession, and that's bad.
Yeah, and that's a huge problem though, is we keep electing people who are so concerned about growth rather than maintaining what we already have.
Exactly. We've already grown. Sustainability should be the...
Yes, sustainability with a small percentage of growth every year. You don't need... They only want growth for profit.
Exactly. And there should be growth, but the growth should just be like new innovations, right?
Yes.
So that's
new
growth.
Technology to make something easier.
Exactly.
Make a job better.
You're not pushing as many homes. Okay, we made a lot of money off this, so we're going to push it. You're not pushing. However, there's so many things out there that I probably shouldn't say on YouTube that they push simply just for money. It's not for your well-being. Or your climate control or anything like that. It's simply because they make money off of it.
Yeah,
okay,
it's all.
It doesn't matter what it is. Just look at the money behind what's going on with it. Okay, I don't care what your conspiracy is. Follow the money. It'll answer all your questions.
Yeah, put your politics, put everything else behind you, and just follow money. Yeah, that is the only thing there is to everything going on in the world. Yeah. Just follow World Economic News, and all of a sudden everything will start making a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable how many people don't see reality that's right in front of them, especially now with the technology and the ability that we have to access this information. It's like, I get it back in the day when everybody had a screen to look at, like there was only one TV in each house and everybody gathered around the weekend and listened to the news or whatever. And it's like, that was it. Or you talk to your friends at work or whatever, right? But now you can literally talk to anybody anywhere in the world at any time of day. You can talk to supercomputers that can scan the internet in milliseconds for every bit of information that it can possibly find. Like, it doesn't matter what you're trying to figure out, whether you're trying to learn how to garden or you're trying to figure out how to code computers or whatever. Like, you can figure it all out, all of it.
Everything is.
We should be amazingly smart right now.
Yeah, we're going backwards as far as history.
We should be doing better ever, and the thing is the reason that we're not doing better is because there is a certain group of entities that are suppressing us on purpose.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they don't want us to. Because once we grow out of their need, right, then we don't need them anymore. And honestly, it's the whole election thing doesn't make any sense to me, because we don't need anybody to represent us anymore.
No.
If you think about where this all started. It started with, hey, okay, we're on horseback here, and we need to talk to a guy that's a long way away. Yeah, exactly. Let's elect one guy to go do this, right?
Yeah. They have oil in the middle of this country.
Right. So that made sense at that time. It doesn't make sense anymore, and you have to really think about what you're trying to do with your life and make sure it makes sense. Not just do it because somebody else said that you should do it or that it's probably good for you, or you just got to think for yourself, because it's not that hard. You're in a time in the human history like we've never ever been in before. Like, this is insane. The innovation that we have right now that is decentralized is unbelievable, because the pendulum always swings one way or another. Once it swings too far one way, it comes back the other way, and if it swings hard one way, it comes back the other way even harder. So we went to, if you talk about, like, you know, hundreds of years ago when people were very spiritual and everything was talking about heavens and energy control, they were free. Yes. In a sense of decentralization, where people lived off the land and they were one with energy.
They worked for themselves. They helped. They really were more or less a community.
Right. And now we've swung into the corporations absolutely controlling everybody with everything they do and every dollar they spend, flowing it into their pockets, right? So the pendulum, Bitcoin is a sign of the pendulum swinging back in the other direction. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then this is your time. Today's the day that you go and search for Bitcoin and start learning why, where, like the purpose of it and where we've come from. Because once you learn about why Bitcoin, you learn about why Bitcoin, and it just like,
you learn a whole, it actually,
oh, that's how it works. Oh, okay.
Let's just say it opens your eyes to a much bigger reality than you actually think is really there. Absolutely. You know, diving into it, it really just, it opens your mind. You really start seeing and forming different opinions that you may have been against prior.
Yeah. So. Which, well, only because you were influenced to be against them. Right?
Well, yeah.
It wasn't you that I was actually against them.
No, and it's new, it's change, right? And that's the other thing is
what is it? Conform or be cast out. Right? You gotta listen to the music. I mean, I swear most of the information that I have about life, I got off of listening to good music.
That's that's the key word.
But the thing is like, you hear all these lyrics and you're just like, okay, they're lyrics. But then as you get older and you start to connect the dots, yes. So I talk about it a lot, and I try to get my kids to play connect the dots a lot, because it's a very, very good skill to have. Being able to put multiple things together, even over decades of time, and be like, oh my God, I this, but now 10 years ago I heard this, and that changes everything. Or you go see a movie after you haven't seen it for 20 years, and you look at it in an entirely different way. You're like, how did I miss that? It's because you just didn't have that amount of information to really relate on that same level. But then once you get to that level, then you get it. So it's like, this is how we move forward. Right, and we've been stuck for quite a while.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I can't even remember when I started. I don't know if it was 2022 or 2023 when I started, but in the short time I've been doing it, it's completely changed my life. And you don't need, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to invest in it. It's DCA.
Absolutely.
Just do your $100, $200, every paycheck or month or whatever you can do.
Yeah.
'Cause eventually, over the course of a year, you're not even going to know how much you put in there, and it's going to be worth a decent amount. And realistically, you probably have 5 years left to, have $1,000 go a decent way in Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
In 5 years here, one sat is going to be, yeah.
Well, the thing is we have institutions picking it up now at the billions.
Well, that's the problem now. You have people not just doing, $100,000 buy or one or two coins. We have
millions a minute, literally millions a minute coming in.
And I can't even remember what Saylor said he was doing last. It was a billion, like 84.
Yeah, well, so this is it right here on this exchange alone, which there's thousands of exchanges. On this exchange alone, in the last 24 hours on a Saturday, which is literally just people. This is all small fries. Big wigs do not trade on the weekends.
No, weekends are sideways kind of.
The last 24 hours we've had $26 million in the last 24 hours. Just turnover. So that's just volume traded in and out. But still, $25 million on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's...
How much money is trading on the stock market right now?
Yeah.
Zero.
That's right. You're not making anything.
So that's another thing too. It's like it's a new technology that old technology can't keep up with.
No.
Old technology can't compete with this.
This is 24/7. This is everything you need right here.
Yeah. And you don't really need to get into the nitty gritty. It's just like if you treat, so think about this. You go to the bank because you want to save money, right? They try to sell you an RRSP.
Yeah.
And I emphasize they try to sell you an RRSP because that's their job.
Yes.
Their job is to sell you.
You are
absolutely
supposed to consume something
absolutely
they're selling you.
Exactly, and that's exactly
Bitcoin
what it is.
Is not selling you anything.
No.
This is you taking your hard-earned time that you receive dollars for.
Value.
Yeah.
True value that you've earned.
You're putting that into a savings account. That's basically what Bitcoin is. It's a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other real explanation for it. It's
just the best one because of the supply, right? They can't print it. The reason why your dollar devalues is because they print it. They continue to print it, right? So if you have kids at a table and you give them each one Cheerio, they're each going to eat it. If you give all of them 100 Cheerios, they're all going to end up on the floor.
Well, and how much? Let me ask you, how much is your bank paying you on your savings account? What's the interest rate on that versus the interest rate you're going to get on Bitcoin?
Yeah, and that's it. The thing is that it's different though. It's not interest; it's capital gains.
Well, yeah.
But once you understand,
in a form of simplistic terms, right?
But the thing is that you at some point though with Bitcoin, that has to change from a simplistic terms to now how do I utilize this for me? Because you will be able to buy Bitcoin. Hopefully, is for a little bit longer because eventually you won't be able to.
Yeah, it'll be running out.
But ideally, you can buy Bitcoin. But how do you make that work for you? And that's how you use your asset. You borrow against your asset.
Yes.
So when it's a savings account, you have to make sure it's a tax-free savings account, or else you have to pay tax on it anyways, like RRSP.
They're starting to look into, or they're trying to. There's been some stuff going on with that.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't matter one way or another. You're gonna have to pay tax on it, but
they're coming for you. Yeah.
But the thing is that you are gonna have a harder time. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you're gonna have a harder time borrowing money against your money.
Oh yeah.
Than you are borrowing money against an asset. The reason for this is because the bank knows that they print money. Yeah, they don't care. Money is worthless to them. They want the interest off of your loan. That's what the value is for them. So if you have an asset that they know is going to go up in value because that's how the world works, the money is printed, which makes the assets go up, they are willing to give you money against that asset because they know, they feel more comfortable that that asset is going to get them their loan back if you're not going to pay it back. Also, probably more because it's going to be worth more after that term or later on down the road.
That's right. Why would you lend money against something that you know is going to be valued, possibly 2 to 6% the following year?
Less, yeah.
So you're going to go.
The bank knows. The bank knows. That's why you can't. That's why you need to have assets when you want to take out a loan. They always ask you, "Okay, we have any assets for?"
Yeah. Do you have an RSP? What are your savings account?
Like,
do you
have a business?
Vehicle?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything
right?
like this.
It's funny. Like
they'll never teach you that. They'll just tell you stick your money in a bank.
Yeah, but as of I guess a couple weeks ago, they're allowed to offer Bitcoin collateral loans in the United States. So yeah, so it is. Banks are allowed to now do that.
I know there is one place that does that specifically.
Yeah, well, and there's also 21 Capital or whatever, 21 Century or something like that.
Yes, that's what it was, I think.
So this is let's bring this up right now because I've seen a lot of this going on right now, and this is what's going to happen. So 21 Capital or 21 Century, whatever it's called, is going to launch here soon. It is going to make people a lot of money, and we're going to see it in a crazy bull run, but 21 Capital is, or something like that. Maybe not 21 Capital, but maybe it is. Maybe it happens. Maybe I'll call it here right now. But 21 Capital is going to be the one that causes the bear market because they're going to over leverage themselves. Everything that they're talking about doing makes sense, but they're going to do the same thing that every human being does, and they're going to get greedy. So it's going to be working so well for them, and it's probably going to work well for them for potentially a year, even maybe more. We could see this bull run last for quite a while, but there's going to be a point to where they think they are unstoppable. And then it's going to happen, and that's what's going to create the next bear market. So we might see a very, very good bull market over the next couple of years in the Bitcoin space. I'm saying Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. I'm not counting on alts personally. I mean, good luck with them, but
alts will be one of them. Will eventually be used as a form of currency.
As Bitcoin goes up, profits will leak into alts. It's inevitable. That will happen, but ultimately Bitcoin is the king, and if you don't know anything about anything in this space, then Bitcoin's the only one you should care about. And we just closed our daily candle we just closed that daily candle. Where did we close? We closed below the POC. So now this, honestly, We were thinking it looked like a good long, might be a good short. If we lose this, we just close, believe the POC. If we fall down here and then we can't get back above this level, that's an SR flip. Boom. Was support, now it becomes resistance. And that's good. I would like to see, honestly, I shorted up here and I got stopped out. I had 2 different shorts from this area. And I was hoping to hold for this move because I do believe we come back down around the 90,000, 91,000. If not, whatever. But I think that would be, so first of all, there's lots of liquidity down there. And second of all, that's just nice, healthy market structure. And what I talked about before about breaking out above the 200 and coming back to a retest before seeing higher highs. So 200, then the 786, then the POC, then we're up to all-time highs. So this could take a while, folks, but personally, I'm out of my DCA range, so I'm not buying anymore. Unless we come back in here, I'm not DCAing anymore, simply because I've been DCAing for a long time. Unfortunately, I lost it all in a surfing accident, so I have 0 Bitcoin at this point. But if I were able to hold on to that Bitcoin, this is my zone to get off and to worry about higher place next time we come back, because as an asset, we are now fair valued. We go up higher, that's when you're looking to sell. It's just the way it is. We break out and go find another value area, well, then that's great. All the bags that I'm still holding, that if I didn't lose them in a surfing accident, then I would be, taking profits. But anyways, that's ultimately that's the way it's going to go. And we know that a bunch of liquidity is getting printed. We know that the administration has no plan other than to print themselves out of the $7 trillion debt that they have to refinance this year. So that's basically a major catalyst for Bitcoin and all assets, unfortunately, for anybody who's not owning assets to go up in price. So get ready for things to become more expensive, just like they continue to do every single year.
Like for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what it was like to buy a house in Canada before 2013?
Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. They voted for change. No, they didn't get it. Some people voted for change and they didn't get it. It doesn't really matter though, because honestly,
nothing's going to change.
No, nothing's going to change. It doesn't matter who's in. No one's changing.
You have
Until everybody uses a different, because you vote with every dollar you spend, until everybody uses a different monetary policy or a different way of things, and then nothing's going to change.
Yeah. I just bring it back down to grow up and work with each other already.
Yeah, well, I think they
do.
They
do
do
work with people I don't like.
They do work. Yeah, well, most of the people do work with each other, but it's behind closed doors. They want you to think that they're never going to get along because the chaos makes people.
The chaos is what they can control.
The potential chaos makes people think, oh no, I'm not going to buy into that. It's going to dump because we're about to go into a recession and it's going to be crazy and it's going to be the worst ever. And that's all you ever hear about. Oh my God, there's going to be World War III this, there's going to be China this, there's going to be tariffs this. It's like, oh, not a good time to buy. Not a good time to buy. Dude, you know how many people told me I was crazy when I bought my house? Yeah. I can't believe you bought it that price. Are you kidding me? It's like, it's funny because I was just completely naive to the entire situation. I had no idea. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm like getting older now. Don't you buy a house? That's what you do, right? I don't know. Why are you making me feel like an idiot? And so I figured out later that I wasn't an idiot. That's good.
There's always going to be haters. Anytime you succeed, people are going to hate on you.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Well, that's funny too. And it was like instant success. I had no idea till years later what I actually had done, how significant it was. But
yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing too. It's because you still hear that today. You still hear people say, "Don't buy. It's too hot. It's too much."
It's like, I feel the more expensive Bitcoin gets, the less riskier it is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
absolutely because you're in a new.
What other asset is like that?
If you have somebody that is, if you have somebody, I wasn't. Yeah. Oh God. That's got a funny text about the surfing accident, but I'll talk about that later. If you, what was I saying? The funny thing is that it doesn't change. People still to this day are saying it's a bad time to buy. Why would you do that? It's always a bad time to buy. But if you look at a chart, you got to look at a chart, right? If you, there's no way you can just come up with a value of any asset without looking at a chart. Man, you got to look at a chart. You got to look at the data. If you want to find the value of a home, if you want to find the value of a car part, figure it out. Get TradingView, find the ticker, and look. Yeah. Do the research. You don't let somebody else tell you what something's worth. Okay? We have so much information these days. You got to utilize it. You got to utilize it. And it's as easy as just Googling, hey, Google, this or whatever, right? But it's crazy because people don't. And then, maybe take some time. Make sure you scroll past all the things that say ad, because that's just BS. You don't need any of that. Scroll to the first or the second thing after all the sponsored ads, and then you probably will have something. Okay, and it might take a couple times, but it's okay. Take a couple clicks, you might save a couple bucks. Oh, there's my new saying: a couple clicks, so I can save you a couple bucks. Oh man, it's funny. So let's see, how's this? So we're getting a bounce here. If we could hold right around that area. But yeah, man, we have been left with a financial burden by the generation before us, unfortunately, because their parents fought in the war and didn't want their kids to have to go through the BS that they had to go through. So they worked hard and created all these beautiful things we see around us, and made it easy for that generation. And I think there's a saying that goes something along the lines of like, good times, or what is it? Hard times create hard
times create strong men.
Yeah, strong men. That's it.
Create easy times.
Exactly.
Easy times create weak men.
Exactly. So that's just
That's where we are.
Right back to the pendulum thing, man. Yeah, unfortunately, but we're going through. Luckily enough, hopefully this is as hard as it gets, right? Because we've seen the potential. We've come up with a technology that's potentially a solution. All we really need is for majority to onboard it, and we will be able to see those good times again. I mean, if we don't, then things could get much worse. Where's the pendulum at? I don't know where it is. And that no one person could ever answer that. The only thing I can do personally is talk about it on YouTube and try and enlighten some people about potential situations, because hearing people talk about how they're not going to be able to afford this and they're broke here and the poor and blah blah blah, it's like, come on guys, we don't need to do that. Okay, no. There's no technology. You got to think about it like we are as far as I know, as far as I've seen in my lifetime, is as technologically advanced as humans have ever been. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's an argument that that's not entirely true, but I've been alive for 30 some odd years, and from what I've seen, we're getting pretty crazy. There's no reason to not be able to sustain what we have, right? We just have to understand what's actually going on, why it's going on, what's driving the direction that we're headed right now, and maybe make a adjustment to that drive to get us maybe going in a better direction, which is very possible. And we're on the road. There's lots of people on the road. There's lots of people that actually live in this already utopian future, because it's crazy, because in this universe, we all exist in our own universe, in the collective. It's crazy, right? Because if you talk about manifestation, you talk about something, you'll be surrounded about more of it comes to you. It's insane. It's like, how does that work? But then in the same universe, people who have talk about bad things and bad stuff, it also follows them. It's like, it's nuts. So we can't get too deep on this, because
this is a whole other show.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. But ultimately, so how's it been going with you?
Oh, it's not too bad lately. Just listening to some city problems too. Man. City's got no money. Taxes are going up, and
did they have a solution for it?
No. See, this is the thing. This is a big thing we got to figure out. It all starts with your local government. I work for a city, and we just had our CAO come in and explain to us how our city has zero money and has zero savings account because of the old boys club. They would just spend. There's no money. Yeah. So you wonder why your property taxes and all your other taxes are going up 10% a year. Well, it's because they haven't gone up for the last 10 years because, well, it's the people running your city who you're electing, and due to their poor policies, everyone now has to pay the price, unfortunately. Yeah. And it's getting passed down to another generation, and
poor policy.
And I just can't believe that a city, this is where you live.
You're supposed to be able to rely on these people.
These are the people that you elect to take care of you.
Yeah.
And they don't have your money.
No.
Yeah, so where is it?
They just don't know.
So I even brought it up with them. I said, you got to invest in Bitcoin. We got to call the city of Vancouver, who have started pushing their way towards a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I don't really hear any other places in Canada looking to more or less get out of this mess we are in.
No one's interested in solving the problem.
They're just more interested in, well, how do we get more money? Well, we print it. Mm-hmm. We need to ask for more. We need a bigger budget. But who's paying for that budget? Yeah. Where is this coming from?
Yeah. Well, the brutal thing is that the what they talk about, taxes are paying for it, but no, taxes don't even cover anywhere near.
No. You're the amount of taxes a country, especially Canada, the amount of taxes this country brings in, none of it even goes towards anything.
No, because it's not even close. I was looking at it the other day actually, and it was somewhere around half a billion. No, what was it? Dang it, I can't remember the number now. The number was it's half a trillion. I think it was half a trillion. I think it was like 500 billion worldwide, maybe Canada 400 billion or something like that Canada paid nationwide in taxes, and the deficit was 1 trillion or something like that. So like not even half of the taxes came up to how much they were spending. So it's
great when I love hearing people say, well, I pay your wage, my taxes pay your taxes don't see me at all.
No,
unfortunately
no.
They don't
the taxes go into, the taxes, if anything, they go off to old debt and they print money to issue new debt. That's how it works, right?
That's how we get going farther and farther.
Every single time they give money out, it's fresh money, it's new money to the system, and then they use the old money, tax money, to pay the deficit, to try and pay off the new money. But all they really do is just borrow new money each year. That's why they just refinance, and that's why you see everything that's happening right now, because they're trying to collapse the economy so that they can get interest rates lower, so that they can refinance the largest debt, the largest refinance of debt that we've ever seen, because of course 5 years ago was COVID, right? So exactly 5 years ago, the most money was printed in human history, in policy history at one time. So it's now time to refinance, and so they simply can't afford it at the interest rates that they are at. So they need to try and squeeze people out so that they can get interest rates lowered, because of course the Federal Reserve is not federal, and they have control over their own decisions, which again, you elect a government that's supposed to be in charge of this stuff, but you have to understand that they are not. There's many entities above them.
They're puppets. It's a show. It's a show for you to watch. Mm-hmm. And unless you want to actually go and do your own research, it's reality.
Vote for change.
You gotta love it.
I don't know what's going on, but it needs to change.
Oh, 51st state.
What does that even mean? Change. What are we doing? Nobody knows.
Remember when we voted for change 2013?
Well, yeah, you vote for change every time. Every time it's vote for change. It's nothing new. It's like, don't you guys remember we did the exact same thing? Did it work? I mean, maybe for a couple years, but then it's like if you're looking at it on a chart, because I would chart it, it's like, okay, we were bullish for a bit, but then we actually made a lower low. We're making lower lows here, guys. We're supposed to be making higher lows. They're supposed to be going up. But instead, everything's making lower lows. It's like, okay, we get a little bit of a relief rally, but then we make a lower low. And then, okay, relief rally, lower low. It's like, come on, you guys, man. If this was charted right now, I'm gonna find that chart. Actually, I know the exact chart. I know the exact chart.
I just find it so sad that
it's the gold chart.
An entire country.
You take the gold chart.
Not even the size of California can't figure its stuff out.
No.
We're not even the size of a state.
And then you invert it. And that is exactly.
Hey, look, that looks about right.
That's the gold chart inverted right there. And this is your purchasing power.
Yep.
It's gold, so we can go big day, 3 day. You can take that, and that's basically how every time, okay, something new comes in, and then no, something new comes in, no, something new comes in. These are probably what? So that's 2016. That was an election year, right?
Yep,
2016. Yeah. No. And so it's funny because this is gold going down, right? So this is that means that we're certain, right? Gold goes up during uncertainty, but gold goes down during certainty.
Yeah, I know. It's hitting all.
So this chart right here explains to you that yes, okay, every time there is an election, maybe things get a little bit better for a bit, but then ultimately we make a lower low, and then we do not make a higher high. We make a lower low. We make a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It's gonna be okay. Well, the most certain we've felt in the last 5 years turned out to be the worst follow through. That we've seen, okay? So it's just, yeah, it's no good. It's no good, folks. But luckily enough, there is an alternative. Let's check the Canadian. I haven't heard, see how the Canadian dollar's doing. No, I didn't want this one. I want this one. Yeah, okay, nice. Nice. We traded this. But this does not. We gotta get above this line right here. So this is again. So this is what Bitcoin just did. This is the Canadian dollar, by the way, in US relative to the US dollar. We were sideways for quite a while. Made actually not an all-time low. Is it an all-time low? It was. Yeah, I think we made an all-time low. Okay. Well. Okay. No. Okay. We go back to 2002, 2001. We were lower. Okay. So the United States dollar was stronger. Back in the early 2000s. But other than that, though,
a weak dollar right now.
That's 160. That's 160. That's ever been. Yeah, the United States wants a weak dollar for sure. Canadian dollar was all the way up to par at one point, and now we've come back down. But in the last decade, lots of volume traded. Man, look at the volume that we've seen. It's crazy. But this is a beautiful buy signal. Again, deep. Look at this volume. Look at this. Okay, green, high, yellow. So green means sell. Red means buy. Yellow is POC. Look at this. Deviation above the high, back into the POC, value area low. Deviation below low, POC, back to the high. Deviation above the high, back to the POC, almost back to the low, POC, almost back to the low, POC, low. Deviate below the low. Now what do you think's next? Most likely POC, maybe back to the low again. Maybe we stick around here for a bit, but if you see what happened last time, value area high. Boom, last time, value area high. So if you understand assets and their true value and you understand how to chart it, you can tell right now Canadian dollar is poised to go up against the United States dollar. Why is that? Because the United States dollar wants to go down. It's going to have nothing to do with Canada being strong again.
Yeah, but they're going to make
it think like it is, but it's going to be simply.
He's doing such a great
my
job.
God! Way to go, Canada!
Yeah.
Way to go, Carney saved us.
Meanwhile, it's all Trump just lowering their dollar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who knows? Who knows for sure? But I mean, you just look at the statistics, right? Don't get caught up on anything other than that. And this isn't quite a bullish divergence. Man, it's very close though.
Yeah, anything the Canadian dollar does is not Canada's doing. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be worth.
I don't know. I wish the best.
It'll be economic stuff.
I wish the best, but honestly, we don't need to continue growth as much as we had before. Sustainability is all we need to worry about, and once we figure that out, and once everybody figures that out, we'll be much better off. And I'm sure it's inevitable. I'm sure we have it coming soon. It will happen eventually. Everybody just needs to have the patience to learn new things. You all figured out how to use your phone, right?
Yeah, those didn't come out till 2008.
And that's the thing too, is it'll come with as the kids grow up, right? Because kids are more, very, very much more open to learning new things because everything's new to them, right? So it's inevitable. Time will take. Just gonna make sure that the kids don't get completely suffocated to the point where they only learn what so-and-so wants them to learn, right? Yes. We just got to make sure they continue to think for themselves, continue to strive to be better and to do better than their parents did before them and to make this world a better place for their children after them. And with that, I think we're gonna call it. Do you have anything else to say, AK?
No, that was a great time. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Join us anytime at Surely Sound Studio. All right, folks, have a great day. Get outside, touch some grass, and see you in the next one. Peace out. No, it's a joke.
Oh, okay, fuck. I was like...
My aunt texted me that.